Hello everyone, my name is Prince Verma, and in this video we'll talk about the mapping of North America. As we know that North America is the third largest continent in the world. There are total 7 continents, and the largest continent being Asia, then Africa, the second largest continent, third is North America, then fourth largest continent is South America, then it is Antarctica, and thereafter it is Europe, and the smallest continent is Australia. So, this is the continent that we are going to talk about. We are going to discuss almost everything related to North America, which is important for the examinations like UPSC and the PCS examinations. Over here, we know that North America is the third largest continent. It has area of nearly 16% of the global land. Of the total land available, the 16% of the land is with North America. It houses the population of nearly 8% of the global population. So, if you look at this continent having the area of 16% and housing the population of nearly 8%, and if you compare it from Asia, Asia has population of nearly 60% of the globe, of the total world population, which is nearly 8 billion. 60% population resides in Asia, and it has area of nearly 30%. So, if you look at this, this is highly contradictory that Asia has 30% of the global land and housing nearly 60% of the population. On the contrary, the continent North America has 16% of the global land and housing nearly 8% of the population. So, this is the continent which is among the most developed continents of the world. Among the most developed continents of the world. So, if you have heard of countries like US, Canada, among the most developed countries of the world, these countries are found in this continent. So, we'll talk about the water bodies, the islands, the important islands which surround this continent. Then we'll come to the mainland of the continent, wherein we'll talk about the important countries, the important cities. Thereafter, we'll move to the plateaus, mountains, deserts of this continent, and we'll also talk about the rivers, lakes, and the important resources which make this continent among the most developed continents of the world. So, this would be our area of discussion today. Let's begin. Although I have already taken up the map, but in classroom usually we draw the map. So, in order to save time, I have already taken up the map. You should have the habit of drawing these maps. These maps could be drawn in certain questions of mains examination. Although right now our focus is on the prelims examination, so will not be drawing those maps. But before I come to the surrounding areas of this continent, let me tell you that this continent is surrounded by, if I change the color, let me change the color. So, this continent, this is the water body called Pacific Ocean. So, on the west of the continent, the ocean is Pacific Ocean. On the right, it is the Atlantic Ocean. On the right, on the east of the continent, it is Atlantic Ocean. On the west of the continent, it is the Pacific Ocean. Pacific Ocean, we know the largest ocean of the world. The second largest is the Atlantic Ocean. Over here, if you know, this country that will come out is Russia. It is on the west of this continent. You will come across Asia continent, and this country is Russia. And in between this, there is a water body, and this water body is called Bering Strait. So, Bering Strait between Alaska and Russia. This part is Alaska. Alaska is part of US only. So, between Russia and Alaska, we have Bering Strait. What is a strait? A strait is a narrow water channel dividing two large continental masses. So one continental mass is this, one continental mass is this. Or in other words, a strait is a narrow water channel connecting two large water bodies. So this is Pacific Ocean. Over here it is Arctic Ocean. So this strait is named as Bering Strait. So Bering Strait is basically connecting Pacific Ocean with the Atlantic Ocean, or in other words, we can say this strait is dividing these two land masses, Russia and Alaska. Over here, this small water body is called Gulf of Alaska. This water body at the corner is called Gulf of Alaska. And as we move further upward, this water body, although this larger water body is the ocean, Arctic Ocean, but over here, this water body, the small water body, this is named as Beaufort Sea. Beaufort Sea, which is present in the north of Canada, north of North America. Then this island is named as Victoria Island. Some of the islands we should know. Victoria Island. This island is known as Elizabeth Island. If you can remember, at least remember this island, this small island. This small island was in the news and it is called Ellesmere Island. At this Ellesmere Island, India is trying to create its rice pool. Why? Because it is in the cryogenic state. This area is highly cold. So over there, creating rice pool would be easier, economically feasible. So just remember Ellesmere Island. A very important island. Could be a question that where this island is located. So basically it is in the north of North America in Arctic Ocean. Anyway, coming to this part, this water body is known as Hudson Bay. This water body is known as Hudson Bay. And this island, this big island, is called Baffin Island. Baffin Island. And this water body is named as Baffin Sea. Baffin Sea. So this island is Baffin Island. Above this is Baffin Sea. And if you look at this narrow water channel, again, any water channel which is narrower is known as a strait. So this strait is named as Strait of Davis, or call it Davis Strait. So if you look at Davis Strait, it will connect Baffin Sea, and this sea is called Labrador Sea. Labrador Sea. So Let me put my phone to switch off. Anyway, so this is Labrador Sea. So this Davis Strait is connecting Labrador Sea with the Baffin Sea. Okay. Now moving further downward, this island is named as Newfound Island. Newfound Island. So Newfound Island at the northeast of Canada. This country is Canada. This country is Alaska. This one. And this country, this big country is Canada. So in the northeast of Canada is Newfound Island. This island. And over here, this small sea. This is known as, this water body is known as Gulf of St. Lawrence. So St. Lawrence is a river which is coming from this Erie Lake. I'll tell you later on. And this small water body is known as Gulf of St. Lawrence, where this St. Lawrence river will drain into. Anyway, coming further downwards, this part, this protruding is Florida. Below Florida, this country you have already read called Cuba. So Cuba is an island present in Atlantic Ocean. And this one is known as this one. Anyway, first look at this. This island, this group of island is Bahamas Island. Bahamas Island. And this small island is called Jamaica. So at least remember Cuba. If not Bahamas, Bahamas you should know. I'll tell you why. Because the important latitude, which is known as the latitude of Arctic, the latitude of Tropic of Cancer, it passes through Mexico and Bahamas. This country is Mexico. So Bahamas, you should know that there are only two countries through which the Tropic of Cancer will pass through. This is Mexico and this is Bahamas. Is that okay? It will not pass through US. So anyway, so that is why you should note Bahamas. Then if you come this after this, below this would be South America, and this country, the country which connects North America with South America, is called Panama. Panama City is the capital of Panama. So Panama. Then coming westward, this protruding, this peninsula like structure is known as California Peninsula. Peninsula of California. So this would be about the surroundings of North America. Now we'll see the countries and the important cities present in North America. So you should know that a number of questions are being asked from the mapping part in prelims examinations. Around 5 to 7 questions come every year directly from the mapping. And most of the questions are related to current affairs. But even then, you can, once you know about the static portion of the mapping, then you can build upon the current affairs. It is easier to remember those facts when you know the static portion. Is it okay? So do remember that these are important things. Moreover, we are not getting into much details. So once you know these things, you can easily remember those current developments and the areas where those current developments are happening. So that is the reason we are studying these things. Anyway, let's talk about the important countries. As I already said, this is Alaska. This is Alaska. Just a minute. This part is Alaska, and Alaska is part of US only, USA. This large country is Canada. This large country is Canada. Its capital is Ottawa, and over here, somewhere here, Ottawa is located. And thereafter, this again big country called USA. Obviously, we know this country, US, and Washington DC, somewhere here, is the capital of USA. We know that there is another city called Washington which is located over here in the western side of US. So do not get confused with Washington DC and Washington. Washington is in the west, and Washington DC, which is the capital, is in the east. You must have heard of New York, the financial capital of US, and that is located over here, New York. Okay. Now, this another big country you should know, at least these three countries you should know in North America. Mexico. Over here is Mexico City, which is the capital of Mexico. Then I already told you about Panama, this country at the bottom which connects with South America is Panama. Okay, so these are the important things. You must have heard of an important city in Canada called Toronto. So Toronto is at this lake, and this lake is known as Lake Erie. So we'll come to that, don't worry. We'll talk about the lakes as well. This part is the part of Toronto, which is at Lake Erie. So now come to the other parts of this continent, and we'll talk about the mountains and plateaus now. Let's see the mountains of this continent, very important. Very important that you should know the mountains. You will already study about these things when you will talk about plate tectonics in geography. But over here, we are trying to have the factual information. So, first of all, the important mountain that you should know in North America that you cannot afford to forget is Rockies. So, this continent is Rockies. Rocky Mountains or Rockies Mountains. It is not this much continuous, but it is to a great extent a continuous mountain. Then over here there is another mountain range called Alaska. Alaska range, Alaska mountain range. Over here there is another mountain range in the northern part of Alaska and Canada. It is Brooks Range. Brooks Range. First mountain Rockies, then Alaska in the southern part, oriented like this only. Then Brooks Range, then below Brooks Range over here, there is another mountain range called Mackenzie. Mackenzie Range. There is also one river called Mackenzie River. We'll talk about that once we'll talk about the rivers. Then from this to this, there is a highly dissected range called Coastal Range. West of Rockies, Coastal Range. And over here we have another mountain range called this in between. There is a mountain range called Cascade Range. Cascade Range. And moving further below, this range is called Sierra Nevada. So questions could be there. Arrange them from north to south. in the prelims examination. And then further moving southward, there is a mountain range called this one, Sierra Madres. Sierra Madres range. So Rockies is there, Alaska Brooks, Coastal Range, Cascade Range, Sierra Nevada and Sierra Madres. These are the important ranges. There is one very important range in the eastern part of US called Appalachian Mountains. Appalachian Mountain Range. Very important. I'll tell you why it is important. Because of its reserves of coal. The best quality coal in the world is found in Appalachian Mountain Range. We'll talk about the resources. Again, it will come. Then talking about the plateaus. So, with respect to plateaus in North America, you cannot forget three plateaus. One over here called Columbia Plateau. Columbia Plateau. And then one over here in the south of US, in the western part, is Colorado Plateau. So Columbia Plateau and then Colorado Plateau. Over here, this is an important plateau called Laurentia Plateau. Laurentia Plateau. So these three important plateaus of North America you cannot forget. You should always remember they have their economic significance. We'll talk when we'll talk about the resources today itself. Okay. So I just hope this all makes sense that important mountain ranges. The most important mountain is Rocky Mountain, extending from north of Canada till north of, it goes till north of Mexico. Okay. Now, let us look at the deserts. Again, a very important area with respect to deserts. Maybe this color will work more brightly. So, I told you over here we have Colorado Plateau. Sorry, Columbia Plateau. I'm really sorry. Over here I told you there is a plateau called Columbia Plateau. And over here I told you there is a plateau called Colorado Plateau. Yes? Over here, just south of Columbia Plateau, there is a desert called Great Basin Desert. Great Basin Desert. And below Great Basin Desert, just above Colorado Plateau, there is another desert called Mojave Desert. So, Great Basin is in north of Mojave Desert. And then moving further downward, below this Colorado Plateau, there is another desert called Sonoran. Sonoran Desert. And then moving further southward in Mexico, over here you'll find a desert called Chihuahua Huan Desert. Chihuahua Huan Desert. So again, this is an important question to arrange them from north to south or south to north. These questions have been asked multiple times, could be asked again. Okay, so I just hope that these deserts are making sense. I'm trying to connect with the plateaus as well. So if you look at this, these deserts, they are below Columbia Plateau. Just below Columbia Plateau is Great Basin. Below the Great Basin is Mojave, and then we have Colorado Plateau, and then below Colorado Plateau we have Sonoran, and then below that in Mexico we have Chihuahuan Desert. These four deserts of North America are very important. Again, you should remember them. Moving further, very important, very important, the lakes. So, most of the lakes of North America, the important ones that we are going to talk about, are confined in Canada. If you look at, these are the lakes. This map shows that these are the lakes. So, first of all, this cluster of lakes, they are combined together known as Great Lakes of North America. They are together known as these 5 lakes. They are known as Great Lakes of North America. And starting from the west, this lake, this one. So starting from the west, this lake is known as Lake Superior. Lake Superior. Thereafter, the lake which is entirely in USA. If you look at this lakes, the second lake from the west side, that is known as Lake Michigan. Lake Michigan. And then further west, which is again part of US and Canada both, it is known as Lake Huron. Lake Huron, the third lake from the west. Then this lake, again it is part of US and Canada both. It is present at the border itself. That lake is known as Lake Ontario. And the fifth lake, this one, is known as Lake Erie. So these are the cluster of 5 lakes which are interconnected, and these lakes are known as Great Lakes of North America. Do remember them, any day the questions could be asked. So this is what I told you. At this Erie Lake, the Toronto was situated. Toronto is again the financial capital of Canada. A large number of automotive industries, obviously service sector and companies are there in Toronto. One of the famous cities of Canada. And thereafter, this lake, one more thing with respect to this Great Lakes, if you look at this Lake Ontario and Lake Erie, this part, at the intersection of Ontario and Erie, there is this famous Niagara Falls. World famous Niagara Falls is situated between Ontario and Erie. And in fact, if you look at this, there is a river passing through this, and this river is known as St. Lawrence River. St. Lawrence River, which ultimately drains into this part which I told you that it is the Gulf of St. Lawrence. So if you look at this entire part, since this is all interconnected and it is again connected with the river, so this part has access through water to Atlantic Ocean. And it is one of the reasons that this northeast part of entire US and Canada is highly developed, because you know that water transport is the best transport for movement of the bulky items. It is affordable as well as it is the most efficient transport for bulky items. So that is why this region will have a number of automotive industries and different other industries which are dependent on iron and steel industries. We'll see that once we'll talk about coal and iron. You'll understand that in this area, large number of iron and steel industries will develop, and other dependent industries on iron and steel will develop in this area. And that is the reason this is one of the most developed regions of US and Canada. Okay. Anyway, come to this lake, another lake over here in the northernmost part of Canada. This lake is known as Lake Bear. This lake is known as Lake Bear. And this lake, south of Lake Bear, is Lake Slave. The third lake over here, this small lake, is called Athabasca. Lake Athabasca. And then this fourth lake, again there could be a question on the arrangement from north to south or south to north. That lake is known as Lake Reindeer. Lake Reindeer. And this lake in the south of Canada is known as, if I write this side, this lake is known as Lake Winnipeg. Lake Winnipeg. So these are the important lakes of North America. Do remember them from north to south, starting from Bear, Slave, Athabasca, Reindeer and Winnipeg. And these remember from west to east or east to west. So starting the Great Lakes, starting from the west, Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, which is entirely in USA, except this Michigan lake, all other lakes are at the border of US and Canada. So Lake Superior, then Michigan, then Huron, then further east Ontario, then further east Lake Erie, and Lake Erie is connected with St. Lawrence River and which ultimately connects with Atlantic Ocean. In between there is Gulf of St. Lawrence. These things we have already discussed. Yes? Okay. Now moving to the important rivers of North America. So there are few rivers that you should definitely know. First river over here, there is a river called Yukon River. It is a north flowing river, River Yukon. The first thing you should know that River Yukon flows in Alaska, which is part of USA. The River Yukon flows in Alaska. Then if you remember, I told you there is a Mackenzie Range here. From Mackenzie Range there is another north flowing river called Mackenzie River. So these two are the north flowing rivers of North America. Mackenzie River from Canada to Alaska and then ultimately draining into Arctic Ocean. Yukon River flowing in Alaska, originating from Alaska Range and then draining into Arctic Ocean. Okay, now let's talk about the most important river of entire North America, which flows in USA. If you remember, I told you there is Appalachian Range, and west of Appalachian Range over here there is a river which originates, and this river is known as River Mississippi. River Mississippi. And there is a right bank tributary of this Mississippi River. I hope that you know that. How do we know right bank tributary? If this river is flowing in this direction, so from the right side, this river is joining, and this river is known as Missouri River. River Missouri. So River Missouri is a tributary of Mississippi River. Right bank tributary, to be more specific. Yes, and then this river ultimately drains into, this is known as Gulf of Mexico. So ultimately this river drains into Gulf of Mexico. Okay, then over here another river originates, and by the end it becomes it becomes basically the dividing line between US and Mexico, and this river is known as River Grande. So River Grande partly divides US and Mexico. Okay, I told you about River Yukon, McKenzie, Mississippi, Missouri, Grande, and I have already told you about a river, this one, St. Lawrence River. St. Lawrence River. So, do remember these important rivers of North America. Okay, now moving further. The most important area from where you can expect question any day. What are the different types of resources that are present in North America? So, the first resource that we'll talk about is the coal, because energy is the most important resource for the development of any economy. If you do any economic activity, the most important thing is power, the energy that you need. So, traditionally, we know that, in fact, not traditionally, even today also, we use coal as the major source of energy. And let me tell you that this continent has abundance of coal resource, coal deposits, and the best quality coals are present in this continent. So, I told you about this region, Appalachian region. This region is rich in best quality coal, the coal of anthracite type. If you know the different qualities of coal, you know that the best quality coal is anthracite, then second best is bituminous, which is found in India in large quantity. India's 90 to 95% of coal is of bituminous quality, the second best quality. The best quality is in North America, anthracite type, and third best quality is lignite, and then and the fourth quality of coal is peat. So those are not very good qualities of coal because they release huge amount of smoke. This is the best quality in coal. It has largest amount of carbon. Anyway, so this anthracite type coal is available in Appalachian region. Appalachian region. Okay. Then another type of coal which is found uh, in North America, especially in US, in abundance is over here. There is a river called Powder River, a very small river, Powder River. In the basin of Powder River, in the basin of Powder River, we have bituminous type of coal in USA. So where huge production of coal happens. So Powder River, do you remember Powder Basin? So this basin, Powder Basin, wherein we have abundance of bituminous coal. And if you look at this river, Powder River is actually a tributary of Yellowstone River. Yellowstone River, we already should know. Yellowstone Park is there in US. Then Yellowstone River is a tributary of Missouri River. And I told you Missouri River is a tributary of Mississippi River. So you can interconnect if you want to remember this. Powder River is a tributary of Yellowstone River, and Yellowstone is a tributary of Missouri. Missouri, you already know that, is a tributary of Mississippi River. Yes? Okay. So Powder Basin is again has huge reserves of coal deposits, but this coal deposit is of second best quality, bituminous type. But again, do remember that is also one of the best qualities of coal. And over here, huge production of coal happens. Is it okay? Okay. So coal reserves are in abundance. In fact, this Laurentia Plateau has also, if you remember, this Laurentia Plateau has also abundance of coal. Okay. The Great Lakes region, the region surrounding Great Lakes in part of Canada has abundance of coal. Okay. Now coming to iron. We know that iron steel industry is the basic industry for the economic development of any economy. Because in order to develop any other industry, you need iron and steel. How do you manufacture machineries? In order to manufacture machineries, in order to establish the infrastructure, you need iron and steel. So, all those countries which have huge reserves of iron and coal, they will have establishment of iron and steel industry. Why coal? Because coal will provide energy to iron and steel industry. Energy is needed any day, no? So, iron steel industry will thrive because of this abundance of iron. Okay, so iron, again, it is in large quantity area surrounding this region, Great Lakes region. Great Lakes region has abundance of iron. Then again, this Laurentia region, and as I told you that this Great Lake region is rich in coal. If you remember, Appalachian is over here, and it has iron, so it will definitely develop large number of iron and steel industries and the other dependent industries like automotive industry. Especially if you look at this area, you'll find large number of cities having several automotive industries. Yes, so do remember that this Great Lake region has best quality iron present in the world. That is magnetite and hematite. Those are the best quality of iron, and that is present in Great Lake region. Okay, moving further, the petroleum reserves, again source of energy which helps in transport, great source of energy. So petroleum, again US is rich in petroleum and gas. All those areas where petroleum would be found, there is highly likelihood that gas will also be found. That you'll study why this is happening, that you'll study in geomorphology. Because the process through which petroleum is created, through the same process, more or less same process, gas is also created. So in all those areas where petroleum is found, gas reserves are also there. So the most important area, Texas region. This region is rich in petroleum and gas reserves. Petroleum and gas reserves is rich in Texas region. Is it okay? Is it making sense? Then, if you remember this lake, Lake Athabasca. Lake Athabasca is again having huge reserves of petroleum and gas. Across this region, you'll find that huge production of petroleum is happening. Is it okay? Then I told you Rockies. This Rockies have also reserves of petroleum. Rockies mountains, but obviously their economically sustainable production is difficult because that region is rich in biodiversity. So over this region, we do not see much of the production of petroleum and gas, so that the diversity is preserved. Is it making sense? Yes. So these are the reasons where we'll have huge abundance of petroleum and gas. Now coming to another resource, the very important resource which is used in nuclear power plants or could also be used in making nuclear bombs as well. You know that the US is having nuclear bombs, among the first countries who developed nuclear bombs. They were the first ones to develop that technology. Later on, the other countries of the world also developed nuclear bombs. So they have huge reserves of uranium. First thing you should know that this is used for energy production. Uranium has huge potential for energy production. A small amount of uranium can produce large amount of energy through chain reaction, if you know some of the chemistry. Yes, so uranium is again present in Athabasca region. Athabasca, Lake Athabasca, if you know, I told you when I was telling you about the lakes. So this lake has huge reserves of uranium. This lake has huge reserves of uranium. But you should know that Canada is among the largest producer, not the largest, among the largest producer of uranium. The largest producer of uranium, if you know, is Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is a Central Asian country. Yes, so largest producer of uranium is Kazakhstan. Then this region has again abundance of uranium. What is this region? Great Lake region. So Great Lake region of US has again good quality of uranium being present. The low quality of uranium is present in this region, Nevada region, or say Colorado Plateau region. I told you over here we have Colorado Plateau. This region is Nevada region. So over here we have again, but this is not so good quality. So we can say low quality uranium. So this is about the mapping of North America, wherein we discussed about the important water bodies, straits, the islands that surround North America. Thereafter, we come to the countries and the important cities. And then we talked about the mountains, plateaus, deserts, rivers, and lakes of North America. And in the end, we talked about the important resources, the coal resource, iron resource, petroleum and gas. And in the last, we talked about the uranium resource, which is found in North America. So, this would be all for the static knowledge with respect to mapping of North America. Once you know these things, and then if you come across certain areas in the newspaper, then you should build upon this knowledge. Once you have this knowledge, you can easily relate that, okay, I know about this, so this is nearby this. So it is easier to build upon the static portion rather than learning everything new in the current affairs. So thank you so very much. I hope this was interesting to you and useful to you. Thank you. Have a great time.